For years and years, I was the nerdy, unattractive, skinny, rejected loser, but I finally found a way to make myself attractive, and I want to teach you how as well. Because you might just be like me. I was the guy who had more photos of just myself than with other people. I was the guy who in school was trying to shave his hair off and do self-humiliation rituals to try and get people to appreciate me or to have them notice me. But realistically, yeah, they were laughing at what I was doing, but they were laughing at me, and they were laughing at the idiot that I was, trying to please other people and trying to be able to fit in. But it's through the things I did which allowed me to completely change my life, which I'm going to teach you. That's how I actually was able to naturally fit in and not have to force myself and make myself humiliated and make myself look like an idiot to try and get some social connection and validation. And the first thing I did was simply to obsess over fitness and obsess over the gym. When I first stepped in the gym, I had no clue what I was doing, but little did I know it would be the thing that changed my life forever. See, going to the gym was not just about building muscle, right? Obviously, I wanted to build muscle, and obviously I wanted to attract chicks because that was the thing I cared about the most, was attracting girls. You know, a teenager, as expected, you get this desire as well, and you probably have it right now. So obviously the gym was there for me to build muscle. But it also provided a North Star for my life because realistically I had no direction. I was just a kid playing video games, staying inside all day with no life experience. I didn't play any sport. I didn't have any passions or endeavors or hobbies. The closest thing I had to a passion was playing video games and trying to kill people on Call of Duty. So getting into the gym gave me some form of leveling up in real life that I could actually chase, and gave me this North Star, this compass point, which I could use to obsess over and actually achieve something in life, because the gym is such a fundamental thing if you're trying to improve as a young guy. And at the time, it actually gave me a bit of social validation, and it actually made me fit in a bit more by standing out. Nowadays, everyone's doing it. It's a bigger hobby. It's a bigger known thing. But back when I was in school and back when I first started, I was kind of the guy that was, in the gym, whoa, like what the fuck's going on? Nobody really understood this. So by doing this, I was able to make myself stand out and enter self-improvement. And although this did get me, away from people because I was suddenly this different guy, it also made me gain attraction and gain attention from other people because this was unseen before. And if you start the gym yourself as a guy who's nerdy, insecure, and he doesn't really have much going for him, you will experience this as well. You will start to become an outlier in a positive way. And now obviously this is an important thing, but more than likely what's going to actually be beneficial for you and why the gym is actually going to be so effective at changing your life and, making yourself into an attractive guy who actually fits in, finally, is because it's going to help you escape from bad habits and help you escape from negative thoughts about yourself. Because I hated how I looked. I was skinny as fuck, right? And gym was fixing that. But being in the gym for 2+ hours a day obsessing over it was also allowing me to remove those negative thoughts in my head and focus on something positive, which was, the set at hand. I wasn't going to be fucking thinking about how much I hate myself when I was doing the bicep curls. I was thinking about how I can change myself and how I'm working towards that in the present. And as well, going to the gym stopped me from fucking jacking off straight after school, because I remember there were times, 3 times in a single day after school, I used to come home and jack off in the kitchen while my parents weren't home. Like, you probably do the same shit. You probably did it in your stinky fucking bedroom. I used to do it in the fucking kitchen near where my gaming setup was. Like, I'd wait every single day until my parents weren't home, and then I did it. But I noticed that when I started the gym, this distracted me. This filled in that time gap, and I was in the gym. I wasn't at home being a weirdo. And by the time I got home from the gym, my parents were home, so I couldn't do that. Okay? So it gave me a positive thing. It stopped me from indulging in other bad habits, like eating a bunch of shit all the time and playing video games, which is actually quite terrible for you. And it kind of culminates and it adds up to this positive habit that, while it does increase your attractiveness, and obviously for me it did, going to the gym was the most effective thing I did in my life, it also improved my mental health, my social skills, everything, because I became someone who was multidimensional. I wasn't just a guy who played games and had no life experience. Now I was into fitness, and now I could talk to people and relate to people on a whole nother level. So the action step for you, if I was trying to help you as my younger brother, as my younger self, is to get in the gym. Now you know this, but I need to tell you that you need to be training a certain way, and we need to be training to build a polarizing body. And what this means, you need to be building a physique that is attractive to females. See, I made the mistake of not doing this. I was just going into the gym, grunting through lifting weights and doing whatever I thought was cool on the daily. This was good because it positively influenced my life. but it's when I started training for attraction and to become almost uncanny because I became a standout, I became aesthetic when not many people were. That's when I got the most attraction, and that's when I stopped being a reject to not only guys, but obviously girls, which is our main focus if you're not fucking gay. So what that entails, if you're a nerdy guy, is taking your skinny, frail body from, skinny and weak like a Minecraft skeleton to something that is aesthetic, and we're targeting a lean physique with a V-taper, broad shoulders, and a good, protective, dominant looking masculine frame. And if you want to learn how to do this, if you want to learn how to build this, check the link in the description. It's where I've collated every single thing I know about self-development, where you can learn this as well and go from a skinny loser to a guy that can slay, a guy that can attract girls and can actually make friends and be respected. Once you're working on the physique, this is the starting point to transforming your life forever. But the interesting thing I did, which is the second thing I'm going to recommend to you, is to do something called leaving the nest. And basically means move out of your home.
Hey yo, in my new house, it's currently under construction. Fuck yeah.
Why? Because home is where the comfort is. Home is where you associate all your bad habits, all your past experiences, and people associate you with certain habits and certain things, right? So what happened with me is I moved to uni. I moved to uni for a year, and although studying was a priority, I didn't really want to move for the studying. I wanted to move so I could go to a new place and get out of my home and experience new things, because I was a guy with zero life experience. And that's what I needed to actually change myself forever. Because when you go to a new place, when I rocked up at the new uni with nobody I ever knew before, I went there with my mum so she could drop me off and help me move my stuff into my new apartment. So I was living by myself. I had no friends, no social connection. Everything was brand new. What that did is it showed me the potential. It showed me new challenges, the different types of people, the people I now had to compete with, because I was known as the gym guy back in high school. Right? And I didn't even have a great physique, but now I'm competing with all these other motherfuckers who've got insane physiques. So the bar raises in my head. I'm like, fuck, I got to get better. I got to get more attractive and improve more, right? It's kind of like an adaptation, a survival of the fittest thing. When you're in your hometown, it's too much comfort, too much chill, everything's the same. Everything is static. You need to be in a dynamic environment if you actually want to change your life for good. And that's exactly what I did. And what comes from this as well is a removal of the fear of judgment, because you have to think about it. When I moved out, right, nobody actually knew who I was. Back in my hometown, everybody knew who I was. I was this gym guy, but I was also the weird guy. I was the weird guy who played games and told all these fucking weird, creepy stories to people, and they thought I was kind of weird, right? I was that nerd, the outlier. But when I went to the new place, this new uni, nobody fucking knew who I was. All they saw was, okay, a bit of my physique, and I actually, I wired that into my brain that I was the guy who was obsessed with the gym and who loved fitness, and I carried that with me, and then it allowed me to meet people who were on the same path. I actually met one of my best friends through moving to uni, because it was this new identity, and I held this fitness-focused identity in my mind. I don't think he would have become friends with me if I was this gay, weird video gaming nerd like I was known as back in my hometown. It was because I had this new identity, which I was able to be, present and a bit more social and a bit more confident, that allowed me to do this. And obviously you're going to get the new experiences and the new, everything from moving into a new place, and it's going to make you attractive because you're not only going to be, for example, like me, focused on my fitness and going to the gym and experiencing these new things, but you're actually going to have stuff to talk about now. You're not only going to improve your looks, but you're also going to have a bit of a personality, a bit of a backstory. Whenever I talk to somebody now, like I'm talking to you, I can talk about all these random backstories and funny shit that's happened, and that's attractive. That's a thing that will make you stand out and make you not be this weird introverted loser like you probably are right now. So the action task, the biggest thing, along with going to the gym, is to move out of your hometown. Now, I understand that I was privileged to be able to move out because I got a scholarship. I went to uni, right? I dropped out because fuck that, but I did it for a year. I was privileged enough to get paid to go, and everything was set up for me. But chances are you are probably not like that. I wasn't, able to do that without this governmental help. So you probably can't do that, and I appreciate that. So what I would recommend instead, and it's something that I do now, is just go out of your house for a few days. Get out of your hometown. Save up a little bit of money, a couple $100, and actually book a hotel. Go on booking.com, whatever, and book a hotel, book an apartment out of your city, hours away, and go there and just experience what it's like to live there. And what you'll find is even on this short-term temporary basis, you'll see so many things. If you're trying to become more successful, you'll see heaps of sports cars and you'll see heaps of interesting things, and the way money moves and the way money works. You'll see more jacked guys, which motivates you even more and realizes that there's so much more competition that you need to get to, and you need to achieve and raise the bar to a higher level, right? And I'd recommend doing this with one of your boys, but it's okay if you go by yourself. And the interesting thing, the beautiful thing is that when you come back just after this short time, every time I do this, I go for a few days, I come back and I have this new identity shift where I know I'm more confident and I know I have higher goals. And you just have to keep working on that and overlapping that previous version of yourself, so when you come back, people perceive you as this new version of yourself who has these new goals and new identities. That's why it's so good if you're fortunate enough to go for a longer period of time, like 1 year like I did, because when I came back, I left as this nerdy skinny loser. I came back as a completely different person. So the longer time you can leave for means when you come back, the bigger difference between how people saw you back then and how people are going to see you now is crazy. You could be a different person. People were telling me I literally looked like a different person, behaved like it as well. And that's when I became attractive and stopped being this loser, this rejected guy who was known as a nerd, because my identity had been replaced. I was now this fit, aesthetic, attractive guy with way more confidence and way more experiences. So essentially, you need to just obsess over fitness and try your best to move out of home and create new experiences. It's all about being well-rounded. You need to build the body and build attractiveness, and you need to become attractive through experience and social challenges and identity rewiring. And believe me, it's when you do these things that your life will change forever. If you want help with any of this, but specifically the level 1 task of building the attractive physique, going from a nerd to a slayer, going from a loser to somebody who's attractive and who has confidence, then check the link below in the description. Remember that progress is purpose, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.